Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about episode 17 of Clear Card Hen. I think we're very close to the end of the series right now. I think we have like 7 episodes left, 8 episodes left, something like that. And I feel like we've lost a lot of time in those 17 episodes, but in episode 17 we had the story moving forward a little bit. Even though it's still kind of slow, it's still taking its time, we had the story moving forward a little bit. And I don't know if it's because of the manga, because we've had like a chapter, and I'm not reading the manga, but we've had a chapter published recently, and this chapter seems to be very important. People were talking about it a lot, and maybe the anime is trying to hide the important parts to show it together with the manga. So I don't know. I think that's why they're taking it a little bit slower. In this episode, we had Rika, one of Sakura's friends from the first season, who's not studying in the same school anymore, probably because of some issues. But they didn't touch on this subject. She just appeared to lend Sakura a book, and I think this book's gonna be important for Akiho, and this book's gonna make her awaken something inside of her. I don't know what it is, but I think that it's going to be important for her somehow, because it's tied to the Alice story, and Alice always seems to be important for Akiho in a way. And in this episode, we also had some pretty interesting moments between Kaito, Akiho, and Momo. Momo is Akiho's stuffed animal, but she is actually alive. And in this episode, we finally saw her, acting for the first time. We saw her talking, we saw her dialoguing with Yuna. And it's obvious that Akiho knows nothing about her. She just thinks that she's a stuffed animal. But Momo knows a lot about Akiho, and Momo knows what's really going on. And I think they're trying to use it as a mystery, as something dark, and as Kaito using Akiho for something. But I don't think that's the case. I still believe Kaito is actually someone who is trying to help Akiho somehow. I don't know why, but I think that he is doing that for her, for the sake of something towards Akiho. And there was something that bugged me a lot in this episode, which was when Sakura came back to her house to get her apron, she left the house and she left the door open. That went into my head throughout the whole episode. I was like, girl, go back to your house right now. Use the flight card, whatever. Go back to your house and close the door. Because she left the door open. I was like, girl, please. But anyway, in this episode, they were baking, and the baking scene was cute. Kira Kira Precure is really there. It reminded me so much of Kira Kira, even though Kira Kira does it better. Sorry. But it was funny. It was cute. I loved the way they drew the girls while they were baking. And so a card appeared, and the things they just started, the cakes, they just became alive. And it was nice because one of the girls said, oh, they look kind of cute. But then they all got together and became a very big and ugly monster. And that ugly monster started chasing Sakura and Tomoyo. And again, I had the same problem. Sakura was with Tomoyo, and she could have used so many different cards to help them run, but no, she just kept running. She just kept running. She didn't use anything until she used the flight card, and they started flying. And the card had like this very small wings, so it was able to fly as well. That was a nice touch. But I felt like Sakura's way too passive every time. I mean, she could have used so many cards and so many ways to deal with that before she started flying. And when she started flying, she used, for the first time, the Spyro card. And I didn't really understand why she used the Spyro card and not the Siege card, because in the end, it was kind of like the same, it had the same effect on the card. It kind of had the same effect. So I didn't really understand why she used the Spyro card and what's the difference between the Spyro and the Siege card. I don't know. But then the card became, the big monster became like a small cake and she was able to capture the card. The card is called Appear, and that's a very beautiful card. It's the most beautiful card out of every card in Clear Card right now. But I didn't really understand what that card does. I didn't really understand its function. I mean, Appear. What appeared in those cakes? I mean, I would understand if that was the card that appeared back then when the trees started moving. I don't remember the name of the card, but when the trees started moving, it made sense to have a card like, it was a card like Movement. I don't remember the name of the card itself, but you know, it would make sense with this card. But there was a very important thing, because when Sakura was able to capture the card, she read the kanji in the card, and then she said something like, oh, I just learned this kanji, now I can read this. So maybe the appearance, not maybe, but I am betting on this, because the appearance of the cards is actually tied to Sakura's life and Sakura's experiences. Not only Sakura's, but Akiho's as well, because they're very similar. They kind of like have the same personality, and their names are similar, and everything about them is similar. So I think that there's something there about both of them, and the appearance of the cards is related to their experiences in life and to their wishes in life. I don't know, but I think that there is something there when it comes to the clear cards appearing. And another thing that I have a criticism in this episode is when, after Sakura captured the card, we had a beautiful scene with Sakura and Shaoran, but I feel like their relationship in Clear Card is really not there. I mean, we know Sakura loves Shaoran and Shaoran loves Sakura, but we don't see that in Clear Card. I mean, they're not showing that. We know that because of what we've seen in the past season. And now they're just dwelling on that. I mean, their relationship seems for me to be based totally on nostalgia for us, the viewers. I mean, I'm not really rooting for them. I'm not rooting for them at all, to be honest, because I think Sheldon is being a dick in this season, and I don't really understand his motives. And I do think that in past episodes, when Mei-Ling came and they started talking about Sheldon, I could understand him a little bit better. But now, I don't know. I just feel like he's never there. He's never there for Sakura. He always has something else that's more important for him to do. And even though you sometimes can't be there, you can be present in a person's life in different ways. And I think that he is lacking on that, especially because he's in Japan. He's with Sakura. He can be with her in so many different opportunities, and he's just not there. And I don't know. I just don't feel like it can be justified. I mean, in some moments it can, but the lack of Shaoran in Sakura's life right now, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's a good relationship. You know, it's not a pairing that I'm rooting like crazy. It's not. It's just not. And Kaito and Akiho, on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like in this episode, Kaito opened up a little bit more of himself for Akiho, and he kind of like understood a little bit more of her feelings towards him. And I don't know, I'm very excited to see more. I'm very excited to see more of Momo as well. I think that this is being the most interesting part of Clear Card. I am loving Kaito and Akiho, and you know, this whole plot of both of them is being very interesting, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the most interesting part of Clear Card. Anyways, guys, that was my opinion on episode 17. Please leave a comment with yours, and let's keep our talk in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye bye.